Thank you. It's really an honor, and I'm very humbled to be here with you tonight. It's just a huge crowd of people, and in Rhode Island's political history, this may be one of the biggest crowds. And this is one. Before I get going, I want to really thank. I can't walk around here. Okay. I want to really thank Colleen Conley. And all of you, because it's, as Colleen would say, it's not Colleen Conley, it's the Tea Party. And it's remarkable, and maybe I missed some things along the way here. What happened? I've been saying these things when I was mayor. I've been waiting for someone to, follow up. I'm waiting for another mayor to fire some crossing guards without being forced to. These are things that, I wrote these op-ed pieces in like a secular prophet. They all came to pass. And just like no one read them, I thought. And then Colleen comes along and I hear about it when I'm traveling around the country, and I send her my book and say, whatever I said that Dan York had a show about, and that I might have said in a book. But it was just incredible to see people rally up because, listen, the state of the state is simply this. We're in last place. And there isn't any like Berlin Wall around Rhode Island to keep people from fleeing. So they're fleeing. So productive people are leaving. And non-productive people are coming. I'm not saying it in a pejorative or a bad way. I'm just saying that when I went around a year ago to look at buying a rather large house, I looked at 10 of them. 8 people, because people knew who I was, they wanted to meet me, which is an unusual thing of buying a home. 8 of them were leaving the state. They weren't moving to some other part of Rhode Island. They were like, man, I gotta leave. I make too much money. Man, I gotta leave. These property taxes are ridiculous. So, what I wish the governor had done last night was really give a state of the state. Because, this is the state of the state. I want to just run through a slideshow presentation with you that I put out the other day and just go through it. Go ahead, Joe. This is the state of the state. We have the highest taxes overall of any state in the United States of America. We have the highest unemployment, or the second highest unemployment. When I say highest, I guess we could be 48th or 49th or 50th, or the other way, highest 1, 2, or 3. But in general terms, we're in the top or bottom decile. If top is bad, we're the top. If bottom is bad, we're the bottom. We're always, and by the way, somehow people who work for the state of Rhode Island say, oh, we're usually the first one into a recession and the last one's out. Like that's like okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. We have the worst bridges and roads in America. And I also have a green pickup truck. Someone my F-250, it only has 10,000 miles on it. It doesn't have 200,000. But anyway, my F-250, when I'm going on this boom, 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 and these roads, it's like, listen, maybe I shouldn't have done this, but I drove around the country in 2008 for 3.5 months in a car with 5 kids, and I saw how other people live. They live better than we do. In Boise, Idaho, in Fort Collins, Colorado. I stopped in all these places. I took my road less traveled without a dog with my kids that John Steinbeck wrote about. We have unbelievable corruption. And not just corruption where they get caught, just corruption like, hey, I know that guy, and you can't do this because, and I can't give you a $100 check, Mayor Laffey, because I won't get a permit at my house because the fire union doesn't like you, or something like that. That's corruption. And that has to stop. We're losing population, which is hard to do in a country that gains population. And we're the worst funded pension system in the United States of America. And with the new general treasurer, it got worse. It didn't get better. We elect people who have no idea what they're doing to office over and over again. And we wonder why this place, while beautiful, this is the excuse we can't use any longer. Slap somebody who says, oh, it's a beautiful state. There's a lot. Stowe, Vermont is a beautiful place. There's lots of beautiful, Destin, Florida is beautiful. Beaches are nice. So it's not because of that. But what we want is for our children to grow up here and live close to us. What we want is for the government to represent the people and serve the people. It's horrific. It's the worst. We're the Washington Senators of the 1950s. It's the worst situation you can imagine. And so it's not like we can just have like these small little fixes that I keep hearing about. And I heard about on the radio earlier tonight where we can share paper between cities. Share paper. Have a good time. You know, maybe, you know, with transport transfers between two cities. Go ahead. That's not where the money is. The money's in pensions, in salaries, in health care. So, go ahead, Joe. You know, here we are. Forbes says we're the worst. And by the way, I mean, to get just a one topic on the national Barack Obama disaster that we elected this guy president tonight. I mean, Jack Welch warned everybody. He said before the election of last year, if you elect Barack Obama, he talks like that, Jack Welch, the man who hired more people in the history of America, right? General Electric. He said, America will look like Rhode Island. The next day, people were around saying, oh my gosh. And then I went on a TV show, a weekend show, and people were saying, well, some people say Jack Welch moved jobs to Mexico or whatever. I'm like, stop. The man hired, from 1950 to 2000, he increased employment more than any individual in the United States of America's history. Why doesn't someone just listen to him? And why is the other side of the coin always the Poverty Institute? There is no other side to the coin of what Jack Welch is saying. And so what comes out is, we're 50th. I mean, we employed at Morgan Keegan a couple thousand people, and we never would have told anybody to locate. If someone has a serious capital gain to take, they're going to move out of Rhode Island and take it. If someone's owned a building in Providence or a turf farm in South County, they're going to move to Florida or Tennessee or someplace that doesn't have an income tax or a capital gain tax and take their capital gains there. They will. Go ahead, John. Now here's where we have to understand what has to happen in Rhode Island. This chart up here, I know you can't see it, but our debt per capita, our debt per person, is the second highest, once again, second highest when it's bad. New Jersey has the worst, we're second in what is a bad statistic of having high debt per capita. Now, you know, look at over here, we can look at, I know I can't walk away, but look at North Carolina. They're $370 per person in debt. They have a fully funded pension plan and have some outstanding bonds. We're $6,106 in debt per person. So the strategy for solving Rhode Island's problem is not a small one. It's not like let's get along. It's not that, folks. This is a big problem. If you look at this, no different than we look at a business. How did Walmart really beat up on Kmart, I'll say, over the years to come, or other places? They did so they generated more cash per person, per customer, for whatever statistic you want to use, per store. And they used that cash to really, you know, open up a grocery store, to open up, you know, the fishing side, to go into other lines of businesses and then generate more cash. North Carolina can do that to us. North Carolina could go out and borrow $1,000 per person, fix every road that's not fixed, send all the kids to college for free. By the way, the University of North Carolina is $6,000 per person for in-state residents. 4,000. 6,000, I thought. But so that's the competitive disadvantage that we have. The denial that we're not in competition with other states, let alone Taiwan or, you know, the Far East or, you know, Japan, wherever you want to define it, is folly. We are in competition. And so in order to win, go ahead, Joe. When I cause them to make what matters worse, here's what they do. I mean, listen, our elected officials, through this crisis that when they passed a fraudulent budget, couldn't meet. In fact, there were state reps who said, hey, Tony can't make it October 2nd, so we won't meet. And this guy can't make it October 12th, and so we won't meet. And so they don't meet. So when faced with a multi-$100 million budget, that they knew was going to happen, like Groundhog the movie, right? Groundhog Day, what is it called? We wake up every October and say, oh my God, there's really a deficit.